All right, good afternoon. The time is 2:04 p.m. We're going to go ahead and bring this water advisory meeting to order. If I could get a roll call, please.
Patty Karen.
Here.
Here.
Davis here. Wofford here.
And Kathy Phillips is going to be running late, so she'll be starting later. Go on to public comment. Does anybody want to make a public comment today? We have Paul here, and then it looks like Rocky, you checked the box? I don't know.
Thank you for the opportunity. I worked very hard today in order to try to be here on time, so thank you. What I would like to present to you in the way of a comment is I am asking for this committee present and this committee taking action for all of the prior members of the Water Advisory Committee to bring together, since this committee's inception, bring together all of the recommendations that the committee has come up with in a formal type of document, which means that by date and by content, they just in order by the oldest date first up through the present time, and that documentation of records, one, be made available and protected so that none of that information can become lost, and that an opportunity for that information be made available. And perhaps the first suggestion would be that it would be made available on the website under the appropriate titles and so forth. And I believe that it would be reasonable that a date chosen by this committee and then by public notice, perhaps it could be in conjunction with one of your meetings, that there would be a briefing review of all that this committee has attempted to accomplish. That it be made as public as possible, and that public be invited, especially, to comment based on all of the documentation and whatever they would like to make expression about that they would feel would be in the best interest of our community. This Water Advisory Committee's leadership and the mission that was given them. And I definitely would be one of the people in attendance.
Thank you, Rocky. Sherry.
Hi, Sherry Wilson, 710 East Main Street. Sorry I'm late. Glad there's new members on the board, and just wanted to make a couple comments that I think, as I've said before in meetings, June 1st should be the first level of water restriction notices. Not that it's a restriction, but just an awareness. The level 1. And now with all this hot weather we're having, I'm sure Jason's gonna have some good news for us. And yeah, I'm just glad to come. 2 o'clock is kind of a good time for me, maybe not everybody, but it's hard to get people here at 2 o'clock in the afternoon unless you're old and retired. So you must be the new person here.
Yeah, I'm Shelley Reimer.
Hi, Shelley. Nice to meet you. I'm glad that we have the position filled now. That's nice.
City administrator.
City administrator. Wears probably more hats than just just like we all do. And I mentioned this in council many months ago, But November of this last year, the fire department signage was supposed to be unlocked in order for the community to be able to post information on it. Do you remember us talking about that? And I see that it hasn't been addressed yet, but for stuff like this, these meetings, it would be awesome to be able to post on that sign to say, yeah, there's a meeting for the water board, there's a council meeting, there's water restriction levels, whatever it is that needs to be signed to move on with that would be great. So that's all I had to say this time.
All right,
Thank you.
thank you. I'm gonna check online to see if there's anyone that would like to make a comment. If anyone online would like to make a comment, if you could raise your hand in the Zoom meeting or press *9 and unmute yourself. Seeing no hands raised, I'm gonna go ahead and close public comment. So as you guys can see, I'm kind of filling in because we don't have a chair for the water advisory yet. And that's the plan for today. We're also going to be going over kind of meeting protocols for the new committee. So they have, you know, a basis for the public meeting protocols. I'm going to go ahead and start with unfinished business. But then I'll share, of course, this is going to be stuff that we're reviewing at this point. So discussions probably should be held until the next meeting. So I did include the resolution establishing the Water Advisory Committee. That's something that Robert mentioned in emails that he was unaware of the resolution or pieces of the resolution. So has everyone had a chance to review that from the packet?
Yes.
Okay, so the purpose of the Water Advisory, establish it, membership, all of that. In reviewing it myself, I've seen a couple things that are have changed a little bit since the Water Advisory had started. So that's something that I would suggest if there's questions or concerns on that, that you guys discuss amongst yourselves and bring it to the council. And then previous Water Advisory business. We have included the old business from the last large list of old business that I received from the previous chair for the Water Advisory Committee. And kind of marked off where we were in those. Some of those have been taken care of, so they were stricken through. So the first thing would be the update on the log jam. Jason, can you elaborate on that?
So roughly 2 years ago, we had the subdivision / developer gifted us $100,000 to look at ways to retain water at our current intake structure. Log jam was one of the first and foremost things brought up. We went through the phases and process with Oregon Department of Fish and Wildlife. They came and did a site visit. They ultimately said no to the log jam just due to fish habitat. So second, we kind of visited a rock check dam, which was large boulders placed in Turner Creek to kind of retain and push water back to our intake. ODFW took a second look at that and said, you know what if we just increased your intake screen and put you guys in compliance? We agreed 100% to that. That project will be finished here probably first part of August. So right now, currently our intake screen sits at probably 4 feet in diameter by 3 feet. Our capture ability was probably around 20% of our creek, Turner Creek that is. Now we're gonna go 8 feet by 3 feet. So we've pretty much doubled the intake screen, and it puts us in compliance and also allows us to bring our the capturability aspect and capture more water passing through the creek.
So would you say 40%?
I would say that if we double, we're looking at 40%.
Gotcha.
So that's through permitting process with DEQ and ODFW. So we're moving forward in this in-water work window, and like I stated, we'll be done and finished with that project beginning of August. So it was a huge win. Their gift, covered 100% of that project, and we're able to add a few maintenance items to that intake screen to make cleaning it and keeping the debris off of it easier for operations. So that is the overall scope of work. I know it changed about 3 times there, but also we got the best product, and for the habitat up there, it was beneficial for it also.
So the log jam was relegated at $100,000 donated by the builder of
The developer, correct?
the homes. Will this still stand as
Yes.
usage money?
Yes, we used all that money to upgrade our intake screen.
Good.
So,
Now, will it cover it all or
Yep.
will there need
nope,
more?
we covered it all plus.
Wow, okay.
Yep.
Well, you're the man.
Is there any questions regarding the intake screen before we move on?
So basically, it's the water, oh, sorry.
I'm sorry, after public, we can hold
Okay.
questions till the end of the meeting. That's one thing I'm gonna go over later
Sounds
in the
good.
meeting.
Questions are for the committee.
Yes, if the committee has any questions, you can certainly ask those questions. I think Robert's already been moving forward with that, but as far as public questions and public meetings, those should be, if the chair chooses to move it to the end. We don't have a chair at this point, but, the Berkeley grant, is that? I feel like I'm unprepared for this. So Shelley, have you had a chance to talk with the people that are handling the Berkeley grant at this point, or?
We can discuss how we're going to disperse the Berkeley grant once it's
Okay,
in-house. So looking back, we were gifted some money obviously from Berkeley's people at state level. We looked, that money was kind of earmarked to do a study for the water plant to the reservoir transmission line upgrade. And when I say that, it was completely study. It wasn't construction. So when we looked at that and we went through our curtailment, we looked at better efforts from the city. We said to ourselves, listen, that's low level at this point. We know what we're working with there. We know that that pipe is 60 years old, and to get to the construction aspect, it wouldn't benefit the city long-term. So that's when we changed gears and we brought in the city of McMinnville, the city of Hillsborough, and we looked at interties. Ultimately, city of Hillsborough was 1A out of the 2. And now we're looking at routes with the Berkeley grant. Carlton kind of stepped into the picture and said, hey, what if we combined our efforts here and we connected together off of the railroad corridor? Great thought pattern, but I think we've most recently changed gears to go over Mount Richmond to connect into their new upgrade to their plant, Hillsborough's that is, and bring it into our reservoirs for cost efficiency. And the outliner is that we're still going to be doing a second rate study on the railroad corridor and a third on that water plant to reservoir. So we'll be accomplishing all 3 of those projects study wise, but 1A is over Mount Richmond Road.
So Jason, how much was the grant for them?
192,000 total, and Shelley can correct me if I'm wrong.
And so that money will cover
All 3 studies.
all the
There's
studies.
a match that we were required to come up.
Yeah, I'll let Shelley deal with the financial part of it. But
Yeah, so the Merkley grant is 192,000. But there is a match that we're trying to come up with, and the number we originally had, we have, but over time, the cost potentially may have increased as we've waited to get access to the Merkley money. So now it might be higher, but I'm double checking that to see for sure how much that is and how much more we might need to come up with.
And what kind of time frame do you have to come up with that money?
within this fiscal year. or-
Yeah, I mean, it would have to be budgeted. I don't, the original amount is budgeted in this year's budget. So any additional money, we'd have to see if we have it somewhere. If we don't, it would have to come up in next year's budget somewhere.
Okay.
So, but there's some technical pieces to receiving the 192,000 as well, that we're just jumping through a lot of hurdles that the federal government requires, and those pieces are happening, but there's nothing quick about it.
Oh, I'm sure.
So that's part of the delay.
So the Merkley grant is set at 192,000?
That was what was earmarked, yes. It's sitting there waiting, but we have to complete some additional application pieces.
Right. So what can the Water Advisory Board do to help with that project?
I don't think there's anything at this point that you can help with, but as we move forward, if there is, we'll just keep you posted. Nothing really, we're just waiting to hear back from some pieces from the federal government on it.
Sounds like it's mostly Jason,
Mostly Shelby.
or mostly
Yeah.
whoever, yeah, with the money
Group effort.
aspect.
Yeah, it's kind of in my ballpark right now, getting those pieces put together, and I've just got to work with the federal government and Merkley's people and our
Because we do
engineers.
have, since I was on the budget committee, we do have contingency monies.
Yeah, but I
set-
just don't know the number yet to even know
Right,
if we have it in there or not. So
Right.
I'll be looking at that.
okay,
So as soon as I find that, I can bring that to the next.
maybe
meeting.
next month.
Hopefully, yeah. okay.
Okay. All right, good, yeah, thank you for that, Jason, appreciate it.
All right, usage reports.
Those will be coming to this meeting and will be posted monthly, as Shelley kind of stated, on our website / what other kind of media we need to use to express that. But yeah, Kyle's consuming and getting that product together for you guys.
Okay.
Was that this one you just said? I have a quick question in regards to that. Will that be usage for as a whole, the city versus with including the outside districts, or is it just the city?
Well, I could ask Mrs. Steele to get our consumption report so you guys could see it broken up. So you could actually see outside users, commercial, residential.
That would be great.
And I personally would appreciate that. And I can almost guarantee that a fair amount of people within the city are not aware that there's other people other than the city utilizing our water. I can't imagine, because very few people come to council meetings or water meetings. I just don't think that they're aware of it. And I think it would be an advantage for everybody to be aware of that. Just so they know.
I'll throw you guys out a number and don't hold me against it, but I believe last month was 10.5 million was consumed.
Wow.
That's a lot.
10.5 million total. That's commercial, residential, outside users,
The whole shebang.
the whole shebang. Don't hold me to that. I'll post you guys that, or I'll send that over to you via email, so.
Looking at equipment and maintenance standards for city and districts is, can someone, say where you guys were on that in the last water advisory meeting? Does anybody have any information on that?
Yeah, I'd say we were still at the ground level with that. That's something I looked into regards to like IGAs and things of that nature. That is a massive overhaul for inventory for outside districts.
So I'm like,
Let the record show Kathy Phillips just came into the meeting. And Kathy, where we're just reviewing what was previously done.
Whole business.
With water advisory committee. And then education on water system usage in city districts. I know you guys did the ordinance. And I sent that out to the committee. That might be something that you want to begin with, is going through that ordinance and seeing where you're at with the education that you want to get out to the city.
What was it that you sent out? Because I don't have that.
Via email, and it's also available on the website, online in the code.
The ordinances.
The ordinance that the water advisory created. Kathy has it there. She said.
Copies of it? You have a copy, Rob?
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
I think that this group, as we're just beginning, would want to review and see where you're at with the education requirements in that. And then I said current reservoir status and curtailment notes was, did you kind of cover that in your updates?
Yes.
So in new business, we're gonna start with the public meeting protocol overview. As I said at the beginning, this is kind of just for the new committee to have an idea of the public meetings. So I just kind of wanted to start with explaining the difference between public meetings and meetings that are bound by public meeting law. And mainly this is a water advisory committee meeting. It's not a public meeting, so it's not the public's participation. It is bound under public meeting law, so there is public comment in it, and it is noticed to the public. The public gets the agenda. But it's not for back and forth with questions and that type of stuff. So I just wanted to go over, see. So the Oregon policy of open decision-making states the Oregon form of government requires the foreign public aware of the deliberations and decisions of the governing bodies and the information upon which such decisions are made. The public has a right to attend the meetings, to be aware of the deliberations and information used to make the decisions. The meetings offer a public comment period for the members of the public to bring to attention any information, questions, or concerns they would like to address with a specified group. Public participation ends after public comment. This is to ensure the meeting stays on track and the governing body or the water or the committee can discuss the matters on the agenda as intended. So per our code, we follow Robert's Rules of Order in public meetings. Not to the T, it's a large book of parliamentary procedures. We just do our best to follow it. And that is basically created so the meetings are successful. And the chair runs the meeting and has the discretion about what they will allow. It's important that when they make the decisions, all the decisions are made equal. So you're not wanting to allow one person to speak and ask questions and then the next person not to speak and ask questions. The best practice, if you want to involve the public in deliberations, is to have short comment or Q&A section at the end of the meeting. And that way the meeting runs successfully. The committees do not have the power to make decisions for the city. They make recommendations to the decision-making body. Any information that needs to be included in the council meeting packet should be provided to the city recorder at least a week in advance of the council meeting. So I'm kind of going backwards in here. We are going to vote on a chair, and then we're going to discuss the secretary for agenda minutes. So I think I went ahead. So I already went over the public meetings protocol. Let's go to voting on the prospective water advisory chair for council approval. You guys will vote and then bring that decision to council for their final approval. Does anybody have any nominations for water advisory chair?
I do. I would like to see, I would vote for Jason Wolford to be the chair. He is the most knowledgeable about everything that goes on with the water. And I believe he would be the best candidate to provide needs and requirements that we all should be addressing.
I was gonna nominate Kathy Phillips.
I guess we have nominations for Jason and for Kathy.
As Jason, as a city employee, he can be the chair of the committee. I'm just gonna ask that question.
I don't know the answer to that. I can look it up.
I would say,
It's,
and this is just in my defense, I mean, with everything else that going on.
No, I
to take-
and I
to take,
understand.
I mean, you know, giving you guys information and things of that nature is well within within my own protocol, but I think for somebody I think you need somebody within the general public to kind of take lead on this.
and this would be someone who's running the meeting. Everybody on the committee is able to give information to everybody.
Well,
So
Jason's still gonna give us all his.
we're voting on who they think would be the best to run the meeting and make sure that they're following the protocols and
Yeah.
moving on in that fashion.
And for your question, Brian Jensen was on this board and he was the chief.
But that didn't have anything with the city.
Nothing with the city.
City.
Oh.
All right, so what I'm hearing from you, Jason, is that you're not going to be the chair?
I would not like to be the chair.
So are we gonna vote on whether Kathy would be the best chair for the water advisory committee?
I mean, I'm fine with it. The only reason, I mean, the main reason that I suggested Jason is because he is so knowledgeable in so much of what goes on, specifically with our water. And I knew, I had a feeling, because he's so busy, that would be more of a detriment than anything. So I understand, I totally do,
Thank you.
but I still feel.
I mean, I realize everybody here has lives too, so it's like, everybody's busy, but
All right, so if I could get a vote, we'll start with Kathy.
Do I get to
Oh,
vote?
wait,
Vote for myself?
Well, do you accept first?
Well, yeah, I accept it.
okay, and then Patty?
What do you want me to say? Aye? Karen, aye?
Davis, aye.
Wofford, aye.
Okay, so I will take to council the recommendation of Kathy Phillips as the chair for water advisory committee. And then the other item I wanted to discuss was the secretary for the committee. Someone that would be putting together the agenda, taking written minutes, if that's something that you guys are wanting to do. We will be, of course, having the Zoom link, and all these videos will be posted online, so it is all out there for public. But what I'm gonna need, so, we'll need to have the agenda and packet information sent to me about a week prior to the meeting, so I can make sure it's publicly noticed correctly.
We didn't really have a secretary before.
Is there a way that we can pass on that until next month, till we have a chance to?
Well, we're gonna need somebody to put together the agenda for the next meeting.
Vote on a secretary, is that what you're saying?
Not necessarily, it doesn't really need to be a vote or official, just someone needs to be in charge of getting that information, and I need to have a point of contact for that. So,
I mean,
If
I
you-
can put the agenda together, but
okay,
probably not gonna take minutes at the meeting though.
that's if you guys wish. It's not required for there to be written minutes. It could be an electronic form, and that will be on the video. So the videos will be run, I will come in here in the afternoons and get the video going for you guys. But if you guys want to have written minutes, then somebody would be wanting to do that.
Because the agenda is gonna have, some of that's gonna have to come from Jason, as far as what he's got on his,
Yeah, I can just relay to you
yeah,
subject
Yeah.
matter.
yeah.
Patty says no, I say no for secretary, so that pretty much,
Well, if it was just for the agenda, I don't have a problem with
I don't
that.
know, it's the minutes too, if you want.
Yeah, no, the minute thing is, I mean, it's online. So if minutes need to be written out, I mean, I guess I could listen to that and write them out.
Like I said, it's not necessary to
Okay.
have the written minutes, electronic is sufficient for public.
Okay,
The reason that I do written minutes for council meetings is because our code requires it to be put into a journal. And that's why, and their preference is for the written minutes.
so
that's
we
why-
need written minutes for this.
You're not required to.
Okay. I don't have a problem with the agenda.
Okay. Great. So that kind of covers most. We did put on here that the next meeting is scheduled for August 15th at 2 p.m. We are still working on getting a counselor in here to go with the resolution, having a counselor. And I believe Shay Corrigan is interested, but I don't know if Thursdays are gonna work for him. So if you want to discuss that, and you guys can all get back to me and let me know what date for a meeting.
So Shay can't do Thursdays, is that what you're saying?
He can do Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday at 2. He can be flexible, but he can't do Thursdays, I think, or Fridays. Did he say Fridays?
Not
Yes,
Fridays,
yes, he did.
Can't
So-
do Friday.
not Fridays.
Just not
So
sure.
why don't we just move it to Tuesdays?
I can't come on Tuesdays. I'm over here. I know it's all about me.
What does Mondays look like for everybody? I don't care.
Monday's not a bad day either. Wednesdays is my grandkid days during the school year, so I'd like to avoid Wednesday if I can, but that's not.
Tuesdays would work for me.
Okay, so do you want me to reach out to Shay
Shay?
and say you guys Tuesday and then
See what he says,
see what he thinks? Okay.
or ask him Tuesday or Monday or either one. I mean, Mondays are always kind of one of those days, it's just like.
Tuesday, do you work?
Tuesday.
I don't work Mondays.
And you don't work Mondays? Well, that solves that one. So
Yeah.
it's Tuesday
Tuesday in the second week would be perfect,
or the third.
I'll have to
or
check
or
the
the third, the
availability.
third week, sorry, Tuesday, the third week,
Or I will have to check the
which is the
availability.
day after planning commission.
I'll have to check the availability. I'm also just personally would like to try, if I'm posting notices, to not have to do them all in the same week. Which would be council, then planning, then water advisory, if we're doing.
Just get him
Tuesday
knocked
the
out.
same.
So
Yeah.
if we do it the third Tuesday, that gives us plenty of time to get information to the council meetings packet for the next month, correct?
Third Tuesday. I need it at least a week in advance, and there's a little bit of wiggle room on that.
Council meeting is the second
Yes.
Yeah.
Wednesday?
Second.
Yeah, okay, so that would give us a lot of time to get information to the council packet if we needed it, so.
Of course, we could always use.
So we're gonna leave it up in the air at this point and then confirm, and we can just post when the next meeting is until we've,
I would say third Tuesday unless there's something, unless Shay can't do it.
let me pull up my calendar.
And the third Thursday worked for me.
Yeah, but if Shay can't come on the Thursday, that's good.
Yeah, Thursday, Friday, or Saturday.
He just said Monday, Tuesday, Wednesdays are flexible, but Thursdays aren't, is what he said, so.
Yeah,
Okay, so we'll tentatively do it for the third Tuesday and then change it if that does not work.
Okay, which is what's the date on the third Tuesday, you got in front of you there? Must be the 13th.
Third Tuesday in August would be the 19th.
Really?
As long as it's-
No, you had the 15th for the third Thursday.
Yeah, but the first is on a Thursday, that's why.
Oh, got it.
So 19th looks open for council room, so tentatively the third Tuesday, which would be the 19th.
That's
August?
a Monday.
The 20th.
Oh, sorry, 20th.
20th, yeah, 20th is
August
Tuesday. 20th.
2 o'clock. It's a Tuesday,
Is it still at 2?
2.
Damn.
Did you Zoom just quit or?
I turned it off so I could pull up my email. I apologize. Zoom is still seeing everyone's lovely faces. All right,
So I have a comment. Under new business, since we're there. Jason has all the figures in his head. We don't have these figures yet, but I would like to address Sherry Wilson's issues with setting a level notice for our city, because we are going into high water or low water usage, or low water, let's see, what am I thinking
Flow.
here? Low water
Lower.
provided flow, yes, and higher consumption. Because it's summertime, people are doing gardenings, they're watering their flowers more. So even if we start off at what would be the level of findings, which is level 1, water shortage watch, I think that would be appropriate. What do you all think?
Personally, I think we should go to a 2. And the only reason that I say that is because until about the 20th or 22nd of this month, we're gonna be in the high 80s from everything that I've seen. Which again, is, this month has been extremely warm all month long. Last month was warm. And basically level 2 is just for people to start being aware of,
No, that isn't.
well, it voluntarily.
Water
adhering-
shortage condition is declared. And
Okay.
There is no water shortage as of yet.
I think first and foremost, what we have to do is collect the data, in which we capture that data on a 24-hour cycle. Right now, things honestly, we're kind of at that midpoint. We haven't even exercised the impound yet. Due to our plant operator stating to me just the other day, he's waiting to see those low water flows really affect the creek by itself. So just before we open the impound, and once we get to the point where we are gonna open the impound due to data, due to numbers, then we'll put ourselves in a curtailment too. To jump right there without having any data really consumed to give the general public, it would be an absolute nightmare for myself to just look them right back in the eye and say, we did it because we did it. I think we have to have the numbers, and that's what we're waiting on. But to you guys' point, we're getting there. We're getting there. And I don't want to put fear in everybody's ears, but the reality is what it is. And
So are you going to do a level 1 then? Cause that's just a watch.
I'll tell you, Patty, in my opinion, and I'm not making any decisions here, I would put us at a 2. I think 1 is expressed annually, daily, every day. I mean, it's kind of like a life.
Okay, so what would you say about making that a starting point until our next advisory meeting?
Or until they see the data that needs to
And
change.
that
Yeah.
gives us a chance to see the data and move the 1 to a 2? Next advisory meeting?
Well, it might be too late.
That's valid.
So have we made these ordinances, we haven't made them as a public knowledge. We haven't posted them, put them out.
last year, these ran on the DAC board, this
Yeah.
TV for
Public.
And they were
months.
online also, if I'm not mistaken.
I put them on the website, I think maybe education and like, I definitely am updating the website and Facebook with a lot of flyers, maybe just general, hey, this is how you conserve water, thing going out right now at this point, and then you can confirm, I mean, cause it's, you guys are bringing that to council to decide. So it's not you guys are putting it at a level, it would be a recommendation to the
Right,
council.
right. That's why I'm recommending at least a level 1
Right.
to take to council. Yeah.
And the one great thing about what this committee did last year was give Public Works the authority to make those
Yeah.
reactory decisions quicker.
That's where it should be.
Yes.
Absolutely, yes.
So, yeah, I fully agree and support a level one.
We just need to revamp the ordinances and what people could be expecting, they might have to deal with down the line, just get it back out there, because you know, everybody is, well, I didn't read that, I didn't see that, I didn't know you were doing that, so I mean, you need, somehow we need to get education started, at least for people to be paying attention and looking. So,
And I think by next week, we'll be ready as far as that educational piece, so they can actually see some graphs, things of that nature, and they can see the highs and lows.
So Angie, could you post just a quick verbiage of, hey, this is how you conserve water, and this is a link
Can you
to,
forward me to an example or something that you would want posted?
sure, yeah.
Okay.
It would also include the water conservation regulations as well, so that they can see, this is how you conserve, and this is what we've done to improve our water consistency in levels with this report or this document, which they haven't seen since last year.
yeah, just a refresher.
Yeah, I'd be fine with doing that.
And I'll probably send it out to the districts.
So do we need to vote on the level one? To bring it to council?
The voter is that adjacent decision, I thought we gave that decision to
I
the.
mean, I could, and
Okay,
make that reactive for you right
you're the
now.
man.
So I'll put us at a level one. I agree to that.
Because it says right here in this facility manager and their.
Yep.
Yeah.
Gave him the
So, yeah, we'll
reaction.
we'll activate one. The one piece that Sherry spoke to that would be really helpful as far as just getting out to the general public would be using the fire board there.
Yes,
Yeah,
yep,
The message board.
yep.
Maybe that's something Kathy, I don't know how that.
They have restrictions, their grant does not allow them to use it for other stuff
That was
other
supposed to
than.
be up in November. That was what the fire chief told me, that they were under those regulations until November of
Which fire
2020.
chief told you that?
The existing fire chief. Well, it'd be nice if somebody'd look into
Yeah,
it.
I'll bring it up to the board.
Yeah, that's.
The fire board, but that was, and they have issues with the sign, so they can't figure out how to work it.
No worries. I understand.
Wow.
So I guess we'll just do our due diligence on our side.
All right, and following the agenda, the next is adjournment.
I thought you had to say something.
Chair.
But
there's no chair at this point. This is just kind of a review meeting for everyone.
oh, okay.
So,
So I make a motion, we adjourn.
well, can we go ahead, because we don't have a chairperson yet, like, let her speak to see what she has to say.
Oh. It's funny, it's all right, I'll just do it after the meeting. You don't need it to be on.
Speak up, Sherry, for everyone to
You
be.
know, I know, you know that won't happen. Who else is on the water board? Is there just the four of you?
Marcy,
Well,
actually, but,
Shay
Okay.
also.
oh, and possibly Shay.
Okay, so I was just wondering, you know.
So Counselor Jensen is no longer with us due to the time restraint when we start.
What about Kim? It says Kim.
Kim will be coming to the meetings from what I understand, correct?
that's correct. She has a lot of knowledge on utility billing end of it. So her and Jason together, are gonna be a power team. But she has court this afternoon, so, she's preparing for that, and then we won't have to worry about that on Tuesdays.
And just my public comment to you of handing out the paperwork to water usage breakdown, I would appreciate
Yeah, for sure.
seeing both sides, all of it.
Yes.
And on the water restriction level one, like I said, I think that personally should be automatic June 1st every year. That should be announced that, come on, people, we're coming into hot weather, reminders.
I think it's a great idea.
So that's all, just to reiterate.
All right, with that, the meeting is adjourned.
Nice to meet you.